Glad to see you. Today's message is it is important for you to ask questions, good questions, and smart questions. That's the only way to reach the next level of success. I spent lunch today with a few people, and you know what? We had a discussion, but most of all, we had great questions that people were asking each other. And the beauty of having great questions is we can find and talk about great answers. And that is what I was thinking, and I thought that I wanted to share the message with you. If you have any questions, any good questions, and you refuse or you decide not to ask them, the worst person in the deal is you. Because if you don't ask a smart question and you don't get a good answer, then you're going to be a sitting duck in the next years to come. Because once you know the answer of a question, then you can go to the next question. And that is the way to success. You answer your questions one at a time, and then this gives you room for new questions. And that's when growth happens. Stay with me. My name is Alain Faber, and I am a teacher in a high school, and this channel was created so that I can help you learn the knowledge and lessons to help you reach the next level of success. Today we have a few stories that will remind you why asking good questions are important. Do you remember when we were little kids? The main questions we had was why. Something happened, and then we said, why does this happen? And then we'd get an answer, and then the following question is why and why. And we kept asking questions because an answer led to another question, which led to another answer. And that's when you could have deeper understanding on the topic. So I remember when I was in constructions years ago, I was working on, I think we're doing some framing. And I was trying to do a few things, and it was going well. But then again, I was working with my father, and then he showed me a few tricks on how to level the framing. Give me some tricks on how to better cut the lumber, how to, how to better organize what I was doing so it would go faster, it will be sturdier. And you know what? By watching, by asking questions, that led to new questions, and I got better. This is the whole idea behind apprenticeship. There's a lot of trades out there, and that could be like framework for framing. It could be metal sheathings we talk about. It could be plumbing, electricians. Apprenticeship is important. During apprenticeship, what do people do? They work with master electricians, master plumbers, so they learn from the best. You can learn a lot of things in books. You can learn a lot of things in a classroom. But on top of that, at some point you need to get it done. You need to try it by yourself. You need to stumble on problems, trying to figure out how to do it, and furthermore, to practice. The more you practice, the better you get. And that is what apprenticeship is all about. It's a great time for you to ask questions. If you do an apprenticeship and never ask questions, how will you get better? You'll end up the same way at the beginning, you'll end up the same way at the end that you were at the beginning. And that's not the way to go. That happens the same way if you're a politician, if you're a writer, if you are, a pilot. You need to walk the talk. I guess we could say that, so that you can get better. Ask questions, and then that's when experience comes. What is it to have a veteran in a trade or a veteran in a field of work? That means the person has gone through a lot of things. They have learned a lot through practice, through experience, from trial and error, and that's how you get better. And that's why I think that asking good questions is important. When I work in school, there are often expectations. In a science class, there are some expectations that I want students to achieve. Now, if you are a passive participant, you just sit and you wait for what is coming. But if you're an active participant, if you are interested in the topic, you start asking very good questions. And I love smart questions because smart questions shows that the person is interested. But first and foremost, it it makes me think. And that is a beauty. Once you ask a question and the person listening to it has to take a moment to think about it, that shows that some growth can happen to the person who asked the question, but also to the person that is answering the question. And that's when growth happens. Growth happens for people asking questions, but also for people answering them. Why do successful people mentor other people? They mentor them because it makes them proud to see people struggling and getting better. And that's why they're mentoring others. If they are with people who don't want to try things and get better, they won't be interested. Mentors are interested with people that ask great questions and they can show them that they want to be better. Because any mentors are proud of their achievements and any mentor wants others to do the same. And the reason is there's always a pride in sharing what we know. That's what I'm trying to do in this with this channel. As a parent, that's what you do with your kids. You want to share with them what you know so they can be better than you. And that's amazing. Nowadays, the internet is helping about answering questions. And often as teachers, as a teacher, let's talk about me. I forget that students have access and people have access to an unlimited amount of knowledge. But sometimes they don't know what to look for, or sometimes they don't even know the questions they have. And that's when I see that experiencing things. I did a lab today and a few things broke. Nobody got hurt, but I was proud because you could see in the face of people that they learned about their experience. But when you prep, that's when you can see and foresee questions. You could say, well, I'm doing that, but why do I do this? And then new experiences come, and then new ways of thinking happens, and then you grow as a student. If you go to, the last time I went to the bank, I had a few questions on how to do, it was an e-transfer. I did it twice in my life and I'm still working hard on learning that. Now, I did it twice. Do I know how to do that? No. But if I'm doing it again and again, I would get better. But I know that for the 2 times I had to do it, I went to the bank and I asked questions saying, okay, I watched a few videos, I read what was there. I would like someone to walk it through because I was not sure how to get it done. They were happy to answer my questions because they knew I was interested in what I was doing and it was good for their business too. So keep that in mind. If you've enjoyed so far the information I've provided you, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you have any comments or questions, please write them down here below because I'm always happy to answer. As you can see, I'm in my car today because that's the only time I had today to record, and I figured I'd give it a try because sometimes to set up the time to do recording works well, but when life gets busy, it's not that easy. So hopefully you can appreciate that, and that will be a way for you to say, okay, don't let limitations get in your way. And I think that's a lesson for all of us. Sometimes people will say, okay, questions are great, but what about dumb questions? Or what about stupid questions? Well, now keep in mind that all around us, there are dumb and stupid questions because sometimes people don't want to think. They just want to say they just want to ask questions because it's just easy to ask. Now, what I like is when someone has a question, they think about it, maybe look for some answer and then ask a question about what they want or what they need. These are the better questions. These are the best questions. And the reason is as I share an answer, I can communicate with the person because the person has done some legwork, has done some research, and they know the vocabulary related to their questions. Now, if someone asks a question on astronomy or on a few things specifically on how a star is formed, I love those questions. But if someone has not done reading or has not listened in class or has not went on YouTube to try to get an answer, then I have to answer the question. But then I have to give a whole lesson on vocabulary to try to help them start understanding what they mean by their question, so then they can start understanding what I want them to know. And that could be frustrating I love to do it because that's part of what I do. But if you are in the workforce, if you're an entrepreneur, if you want to succeed in society and go to an extra step, do your homework, do some reading, do some search once in a while. You have a question, try to find the answer yourself, and if you can find the answer, go and get an expert. Then you'll see that the answer will have a great impact on you. I would like you to take your journal because I have a few things for you before you go to the next video. The first one is I want you in your journal to outline one question that you've been wanting to know the answer for a while. The reason for that is there's always a few questions we want to know the answer, and by not asking the question, it lingers up here and it's taking mental energy from you. So I want you to write one question, and I want you to find a way to get the answer for that question, get an expert if needed, and they can be your doctor, your pharmacist, it could be your teachers, it could be a parent, it could be the mayor, it could be an entrepreneur in the town you live in. I'm sure you can be resourceful to find the answer. The next thing is I want you to try something new. Try something new because something new will trigger questions. And when you start asking questions, it shows curiosity. And curiosity is important because once you're curious, you'll see more situations around you. And if you're a problem solver, you'll find new problems to solve. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, problem solving is the key to success. Now that you have written in your journal, it's getting dark. You could see the light is not as good, so it's time for me to go. I want you to go up here and go to the link of video about working consistently so that you can grow. Because if you ask consistently great questions, you will grow to the next level. I'll see you in the next video.